Welcome back team to another video starring yours truly. And this one is another one about nutrition, but not just nutrition. This applies to how everything that you do in your life and how you can live the best, most fulfilled life that you can. And it does include nutrition, because what I'm talking about, I know I sound like a broken record, but is you adapting who you are as a person. This is the fundamental principle that underlies everything else. All the processes that we follow to get the results that we want, all the goals that we set, all the methods that we employ, it doesn't matter if we don't address who we are as people, essentially. So if I have some kind of vision in my mind about the type of life that I want to live, inside the gym, outside the gym, and with my nutrition, how I would like to live my life with nutrition, with my training, how healthy I would like to be, with my movement and how good I would like to feel in my body, and just with my general mood, my emotions, my happiness, my fulfillment. When I start to think about all of these things, in order to reach them, we have to start thinking about what that life looks like. So if I am keen on being kind of, like an athlete, I have to start thinking, what does it look like to be an athlete? And first off, if you don't know the answer to that question, if you have a vision in mind, like I'd like this figure so that I've got this confidence, and ultimately it's all about the confidence, because then I feel like I can be happier in my life and enjoy it more. Start thinking about what a person in that position, what their life looks like. And if you don't know the answer to that question, that's something to start investigating. So somebody who's confident, whether they've got a good figure or don't have a good figure, somebody who's an athlete, like a really top athlete, or somebody who's trying to become an athlete, how do they approach life? How do they think? How do they behave? How do they feel? Now, I'm not saying to copy them and emulate them. I'm talking about this more in terms of how that would look for you. But there are certain things that you will probably discover. So for example, if you did want to kind of, be an athlete, and not just like an athlete for 6 months and then be rubbish again, you're talking about, I would like my next 10 years, I would like to be competitive and I would like to feel like I can perform really well, and then after that I would like to be really healthy. Okay, you're starting to create a vision of what you would like your life to look like. But what does that look like in the detail? Well, when we look at athletes, they're probably very consistent people. They would probably do the work whether it had an outcome or not. So even if they weren't going to competitions and they weren't reaching podiums, they would probably do it just out of the enjoyment of doing it anyway. So maybe I need to consider how I can just enjoy the process anyway, and then kind of get good as a byproduct of doing those things. They're probably people who are not very stressed, because the stress impacts their performance, but also it seems like when they train, they're able to use that to reduce their stress. But they also will probably be the type of people who do things to help alleviate their stress. Maybe they take some time out, they enjoy the nature, they have pets, and those kinds of things. If you're somebody who is wanting to be confident and to be able to go out and just express yourself without fear of judgment, what does that person look like? Probably, regardless of whether they've got a good figure or not, they're probably somebody who doesn't overly care what other people think, because that tends to kind of paralyze you a little bit. But they're somebody who isn't afraid to express themselves despite judgment. A confident person probably feels the fear of doing something different and new and something unfamiliar, just like we all do, but they probably don't let that stop them. All of this is to say, you start delving into the psychology of how you would be in that situation, living that life. And when you start to do that, you start to realize that, or you can realize that addressing who you are and starting to adopt those things will help you reach those endpoints or those outcomes anyway, as a byproduct of who you are. And it's a shift in approach on how we do things. So a lot of the way people think about getting fitness results or lifestyle results or career results is like a means to an end. I want to work really hard on this, I want to get a good physique, and then I'll be happy. But unfortunately it doesn't work like that. The shift is to changing who you are as a person, being somebody who consistently trains, being somebody who understands the importance and benefits of exercise, and does it regularly because they enjoy it and because they know that long term it has a really insanely positive impact on the health span and lifespan, and so end up just really enjoying the process. Then when you do that, those results that you get just kind of come by themselves. Another amazing things happen when you do that. So when you're doing something as a means to an end, it means there's an end. So once you put in all of that work for that 6-month period, that 1-year period, that 5-year period, you put in all that work, you've reached that end, you've achieved what you set out to achieve, but it's an end. So you may kind of reap the benefits for a short period of time before it starts to die off again, because intrinsically nothing's been worked on to change within yourself. All you've been doing is thinking about endpoint, 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 but you haven't changed who you are as a person. The other approach is change who you are as a person and get that outcome as a byproduct of how you live your life and how you think and how you feel. Then when you reach that endpoint and you get that goal, that outcome that you are after, whether that's taking you a year or 5 years, you maintain it, because even though you've reached that outcome, you carry on because it's who you've become. So rather than thinking about finite lengths of time to try and achieve something, such as, yeah, I'm going to work on mobility for 6 months, and then once I'm mobile, I'll be able to do all the things that I want to do. Or, yeah, I'm going to try really hard on nutrition for the next 3 months. I'm going to be really, really disciplined, get my figure where I want it, and then when I've got my figure where I want it and I feel confident, then I'm going to work on the next thing, or I'm going to go out and enjoy myself. But guess what? You only get to reap the benefits of that for a short period of time because you haven't changed anything within yourself. You go back to how things were, and this is how diets work for the majority of people. That's why we have this statistic of like 98% of diets fail, because following this kind of short-term thinking, these little plans to get you from A to B, only get you from A to B, and then it doesn't work anymore. But if we put the upfront work into changing how we live, and that means challenging how we think, then we start to adapt to who we are as people, and those outcomes come as byproducts, but they also stay forever because it's just how we operate, it's who we are as human beings now. So, to bring this all back, let's start challenging and make sure we are thinking about how we think. Which sounds very meta, but we're sort of taking our typical thoughts and beliefs, stepping back from them, and kind of assessing. And it's okay to do that. You might come to the exact same conclusions that you already had, and that's okay. But you might step back and spot something, some kind of red flag. My emotions get the better of me sometimes. Or, I've been thinking short term and I didn't realise that. Or, I've got a lot to learn. I thought I kind of was clued up, but actually I realise now that there's a lot more that I need to understand about this and how it works. So when we do that, we start to realise that we have to challenge the way we've adopted thinking over years and years and years, and then it's now our responsibility to start embodying the type of person that we do want to be. Whether that is a less stressed person, I know it sounds mad and really simplified to say be less stressed, but it's a practice, it's a skill like anything. We can put work and we can put some of our time and energy into being less stressed. We can put work, time and energy into cultivating more time and energy. We can put work and energy into cultivating fulfillment. We can start doing all of these things in the moment. We can start giving less of a shit about what people think so that we feel more confident. And then because of our confidence, we end up enjoying the outcome that we wanted to achieve, that we thought we was going to do it by changing our physique. But we can do it now, immediately. Even if we do change our physique anyway, we can do it now. So, something to think about and take away. It's so important, and I know I sound like a broken record, and some of you will have heard this a million times from me. But let's challenge who we are at the moment and start embodying who we like to be and the life we'd like to live, in order to set us up for success when we do employ the processes of development and achieving more. And if there's anything that you're not sure of, if you think that sounds overwhelming, or you're just not sure where to start, that's why I'm here. So just drop me a message or talk to me in person, and let's discover what's going on. What do you feel like is holding you back, and why it's so difficult? And then let's start asking some alternative questions. What if it wasn't as difficult as you think? What if this whole idea that with nutrition it's so hard and you find it so difficult to stay disciplined? What if there was a way of approaching your nutrition that wasn't like that? What if we reframed it? What if it was a different mindset than the way you'd been brought up? Maybe if that's true, things could actually work, and it maybe isn't as difficult, and maybe I can kind of like start getting all these elements of my life in order in the way that I want it, so that I can live my life the way that I want to live. Maybe. Let's start challenging it, questioning it, and embodying the kind of life that you want to live. Thanks for watching. Let's delve into more details soon, but I will catch you in the gym team. Keep up the good work and keep challenging yourself inside the gym and challenging yourself outside the gym.